Last week's episode of Faces of the Family, our saga about one family and its variations, was about sons and stepsons. There's nothing extraordinary about this family, except when you come to think of it, all families are extraordinary in the complex ways they arrange their affairs in order to survive. This week, it's about a mother and father in a traditional nuclear setup. Biff goes out to work. Mandy stays at home to look after their 3 children. That is Gemma, their eldest, who is coping with cerebral palsy, AJ, their only son, and baby Megan. Mandy, do you actually, as a full-time mum, like as I say I was for a while, do you actually, I don't mean disapprove of working mums, quite, but well, I'm nearly that. Do you think they put a lot of strain on themselves, and why don't they wait till their children are older?
No, but I think it's, again, hopefully entirely their choice. Sometimes the choice is restrained slightly by finance, or terrifically by finance, and there isn't. They're just not able to make the choice of whether they work or not. No. The family has to have the second income. I mean, fortunately, we haven't been in that position, so the choice has been entirely ours, that I don't work, Biff does, and I take on all the childcare. And it is virtually all. I mean, our support network is very small, very small.
And you haven't got grandparents near you?
We haven't got grandparents near us, and I think with Gemma having problems as well, it isn't quite as simple to ask somebody to, please would you have Gemma for the afternoon, you know, and because she is so demanding, she does need that much extra time. It's not quite like asking somebody just to have one more child to look after. You almost have to look at her as 2 or even possibly 3 at times.
Have you ever found it a very big problem being black in England?
No, I mean, not at all. Not compared with millions of others, no. I mean, in comparative terms, I've had a life and an upbringing that's sheltered me from the experiences that a great many black people have experienced in Britain. My mother always tried to instill in me the sense that I would have to do perhaps things slightly better than the next non-black person to prove myself on a par. If I was going for a job perhaps, and there were 2 of us, I would have to have that little extra something to get the job. But beyond
exactly
that,
as women are told, that they've got to be twice as good as men.
Well, I mean, possibly, yes. Yeah, I mean, possibly worse for women. But yes, I mean, that sort of thing was emphasised, I think, by my mother. But within my upbringing, there wasn't a great deal of pain or hardship that a lot of black people suffer, I know.
When do you mean, well, why do you think then that your life sheltered you from that? Because you were educated, you know, do you mean?
Yes, well, I think that's possibly an advantage, yes. I mean, I went to a fairly formal, traditional grammar school. My mother was, again, I mean, a career woman and quite a public figure. So I certainly had advantages. Obviously, I suppose you would say we came from we were a middle-class background type family. So I had all sorts of things that to start with in my life and running through my life that so many other people, so many other black people don't have.
Yeah, I know that this can't have made any real difference because it's Mandy and your choice. But Pauline, as a working mother, as you said, a career woman, and as a public figure too, do you think that made you see the difficulties of a working wife, and therefore you would have preferred someone who preferred to be at home when you had children?
We've examined, as we've said, perhaps looked at the possibility of could we reverse our roles? Difficult now because we're quite entrenched, as it were. I'm on my career path, and to an extent, Mandy is on hers.
Absolutely. If I were to say to you that you are a perfect example of a nuclear family, would you? Well, you have reacted, Biff. What do you think of that?
Well, it's odd, really. I don't think we've set out to be like that, have we? We haven't thought to ourselves consciously there is a need to get a house and have children. It's just arrived, isn't it?
Did you have a conventional wedding?
Yes.
Yes, very very standard, I suppose. I think we were amongst the last, were we not, of our friends from college to take the plunge and get married, and I think I'm right in saying that most of them had gone that route, had they not?
Yeah, I think so, yes. Yes.
So a white wedding,
A large white wedding.
and with everybody there and full festivity.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yes, all traditions and everything, yeah.
and thoroughly enjoyable.
Really, you enjoyed it?
Yes, I mean probably because personally I was, again, full of trepidation, but thoroughly enjoyable. One of the best days of my life.
So you see, that is that's why I asked you about being a nuclear family. In a sense, that kind of thing almost sets a seal. I mean, a white wedding is meant to,
Standard beginning, and that these things will follow on as logical progression. Well, it may well be, but
They did, but we didn't
they weren't.
sit down.
They weren't mapped out. I mean,
No.
I don't think any of these things were mapped out by us in advance, including. Well, I mean, no element of our life, future life, was sort of planned to any great degree.
You were both teachers when you met, yes?
No, we were both training teachers when we met. But we ended up actually teaching at the same school.
But now then, was it any difficult decision then for you to make to give up that job?
No. But again, it almost just seemed to... Well, it happened. You know, with being pregnant, I took maternity leave. And we knew that I was hopefully going to be the one to bring the children up.
But that is a decision that some women can't make. They decide they want their job and they want their children, don't they? I mean, did you want to be a full-time mother?
I wanted to be, yeah, definitely. Yes, I wasn't at all interested in leaving the children with somebody else for the daytime or for however long and going off to work and then coming back to be told that they'd done X, Y and Z during the day. I wanted to be the one to see them doing the X, Y and Z or even doing it with them.
No, I agree with that 100%. We could think of no one better than us, and in particular Mandy, to be the one who had the main input into bringing up our children.
It could have been that Mandy said, I'll have the babies, and then you, Biff, must come and be the mother at home while I go out to teach. You could have done it that way.
We could have done, yes, and I'd have, in fact, did we may even have discussed that as a positive option. I think we possibly rejected it fairly quickly on the grounds that potentially my earning power in the future was probably likely to be greater. And also that, as Mandy said, she'd begun the process, she'd taken time off for maternity leave and been there at the start, so to speak. But I would have, I would have, and I still would, I think, like to contemplate that possibility that if Mandy were to say, I have a burning desire to get back there into the world of work, you, Biff, must take over. I would, with some trepidation, if we could manage it, I'd do that.
But I've got no burning desire
No,
to go
no,
back to work and relinquish it all.
You see, some people would really want to know the secret of your happiness. Now, I wouldn't particularly myself, but I am going to ask you it. Why do you think you're so able to be a full-time mother when a lot of women are very restless about this role?
Probably because I'm the practical one. And I like organising, and I'm very good at organising, and let's face it, it gives you tremendous scope to pursue those things, doesn't it? With all the jobs to be done and everything to be fitted in, and I think that's probably when I come to the best and get on with it.
How interesting. I've never heard that explanation before, but it's like being boss of a kind of organisation. But are you possessive of it?
No, because I mean it's nice if somebody can come in and take over with a job or help with the job. Obviously it's nice to have a break. I mean I'm not burning to do every single job that has to be done for every single child.
I felt quite strongly that my mother gave me my role as a mother a bit, you know. Do you feel that a little bit or not?
Especially again with the organisational skills and things, they come from my mother. Definitely. I mean, I'm an only one, so the size of family is different. But essentially, you know, she didn't work. She stayed at home to be there for me, and I'm staying at home to be there for mine. And it's quite similar.
Because I felt that because she had given me so much, I wanted to give my children the same. When it comes to, say, the sort of idea of man being father, woman being mother, have you had much of a battle of sexes, or are you both fairly happy in your gender and you're not rivals?
There are quite clearly defined elements, sort of demarcation lines for some of the things that go into running the house, and Mandy is without a doubt the domestic manager, but it's never been a source of any friction that either of us felt. I don't think either of us have ever felt, that we would want more say or more to do in something the other person tends to do. I mean, we hope desperately, I think, that the way that we're choosing to bring up our children, and again, it's not predetermined. I mean, we're learning a great deal almost every day as we go along. But the way we do that is positive and for the best, and that by both of us contributing in all sorts of ways to their upbringing, that I hope we're helping to make well-adjusted people. So, yes, I think that it probably is important that both of us are contributing to that in that sense of our nuclear family roles. I think that probably is important.
Properly.